Hey, what's up, everybody? It's good to be with you today, and we have a big rivalry match for us as we take on Utah State. We're going to be up in Logan, so we'll be on the road. Utah State not having really much of a season. You can see they're over in 8th place. The reason why I'm lingering on this screen, though, is I noticed something that I probably should have noticed earlier, which is that the schedule is kind of staggered, right? So our game is the 4 o'clock game. There's another game at 7 and then one at 8. I mean, it's all right, but it kind of takes some of the fun out of it, right? Having small leagues is not really that much fun, but then not having games at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really that big of a fan of it. It is a pretty good emulation of what the American college football experience is like, right? But do you really want that, right? That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? Is this something that is better than what Football Manager would normally do? I don't know. Anyway, just a little bit more criticism here for this editor data file that I've already kind of dumped on over and over and over again here on this channel. So there's a little bit more dumping for you. Utah State really having some poor form, 3 draws and 2 losses in their last 5. We have the 4 wins and then, of course, the 1 loss that was in the College Cup where we had that totally ridiculous draw. We were playing against Washington State and really didn't have much of a chance to win that one. Our goal differentials 16, which is pretty impressive considering how few matches we played. We keep winning 4-0. That's what this is all about. We win 4-0, and I just looked up and saw that we are in white today, and here's Cook with it out of the back because Alpha Doe, of course, is suspended. Too many yellow cards. As I said before, Alpha Doe, it's like every time you turn around, he's got another yellow. And as Utah State with the attack, fortunately for us, man, Garcia with that back pass with the heel back to the goaltender. That's ridiculous. What is he doing? I mean, I guess you're showing off or something like that, but he shouldn't be doing that, not in that situation. I mean, because if he passes that wrong or someone misses that, that's an own goal. Cook now with it. Cook over to Meza. Meza passes it back to Korn again, but over to Cook and then over to Williams. Williams will knock this forward to Sun Hyun Taek. Sun Hyun Taek over to Garcia. That's the one that I was complaining about, and it's over to Bowden. Evan can't get his head across onto that one. It's Nickerson with this over to Franco. Franco looks forward for Morales, and it's a goal for Utah State, and Utah State's up 1-0 here within the first 3 minutes of play. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. And boy, the home crowd here in Utah State is just going absolutely nuts over the Aggies, who are up 1-0 early on in this one. And, man, that was a pretty looking goal, and it's a really pretty bad job there by Chris Gallagher, who needs to play defense. Now, one thing I do want to say is that this stadium looks like a pretty good representation, I would say, I think it's called Romney Stadium. Is that right? Over in Utah State. Trying to remember. It's been a little while since I've watched much college football here in the U.S. Cook with this over in Duckworth is able to get an interception. And, boy, we're not doing very well. I thought we had all this good cohesion. That was my video yesterday. I thought that we had the ability to play together. In Chinese, they call it mo chi, when you know everything that the other players are going to do. Martin there with that head. Good header from Grant Martin, but Angulo is able to get it. That's another Spanish name. And Gallagher has this here in the back. And it's Morales again who wins it off of him. Morales is just all over the place here, and it's a pass over to Duckworth, and they're going to try for another one of these little headers, and they get it, and it's Akins knocking that one forward and forcing the good save from Korn. And, man, I mean, they are really up for this rivalry match. What is going on here, guys? I mean, this is ridiculous. We should be absolutely destroying this team. I'm guessing that we have players who don't like big matches or something like that. I don't know. Some players look pensive, some look inspired. The goaltender looks inspired. That's kind of a thing that we want, but we would like some more inspiration from some of the attacking players. Well, sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Mutenya now, he understands that. Pass it forward to Aldana. Aldana looks for Martin, and he just lets that one get intercepted. Aldana is one of those players I kind of worry about. Franco now with this. And fortunately for us, the shot on goal is uninspired, and we have the ball back with the goal. Glenn Cook with the yellow card. Again, it seems to be the rule here. If you play center, if you're a center back for us, you will get yellow carded. And there's a pass forward to Morales, and he looks forward for Akins. Unfortunately, nothing happens out of it, but it's Duckworth now. And he blasts that one over the goaltender's head, and that's fortunate for us because we had nobody back to play defense. And we're down still 1-0, and so much for the 4-0 victories that we'd been having. Subota over to Morales, and they find him, and he has a shot from range, and Korn has to make the big save. And, man, I don't know about this. I got a bad feeling about this one. It is Lucas here with the corner. Lucas steps back, and he fires it, and can't quite get any offensive players there for Utah State. It's Morales with it now over to Nickerson, over to November, over to Meggs, I think is his name. And Amutenia wins this one back. Unfortunately for us, he is fouled by Franco. And this will slow things down a little bit. Gallagher takes this free kick over to Cook. Back to Gallagher with it. And we have the sea of yellow cards there. It's more like a wall of yellow cards in the back. Cook over, and he finds Gallagher again. And looks forward to Meza, another yellow card. And forward over to Martin, who scores the goal. Thank you, Grant, for pushing this one forward. The kid makes a very, very good offensive play and equalizes. It's 1-1, and now we can breathe a little bit easier. Grant Martin with this supreme shot, and this is really kind of against the run of plays. Utah State has had the ball for a lot of time here in the first half, but Martin gets that one, and boom, he fires his cannon, and there's no way that keeper was going to stop. It doesn't matter where the keeper was going to stand. With a shot like that, I mean, it's not going to be stopped. Martin was having, he's actually having a good game. It's Garcia who's having the poor one. He of the back-footed pass back to the goaltender, which was ridiculous. Here is the goal kick from Utah State, and it's Aikens in a very good position. He is called, no, he misses the shot is what it is. I thought he was going to be called for offside for a second there, and he was not. This little pass by Nickerson, and he's not offside. I can see we had one defender who was a little bit further back. How does he miss that? How do you miss that? He had the goal wide open in front of him with no defenders, and the goaltender was out of position. How did he miss that? I mean, that's one of those ridiculous Football Manager shots where you say, well, it's a good thing for this game that was a new gen. If that's a real player, then we're up in arms. Then we go to Reddit, right? You get the Reddit army after them. Here's Meza here, who had this offensive move for us to Amutenia to Bowden, and then back to Amutenia, who gets this really good cross in, and it looks delicious. And it's Martin trying to score again, and he had jumped up, knocked that one in the middle of the air, and unfortunately that was not quite good enough for us. Amutenia now with a free kick, and loops that one over to Angulo and forces a really poor save by him as he punches that back instead of grabbing it. That means that's going to be a corner, and here's Garcia with the corner. Garcia trying to redeem himself after the ridiculousness, and Angulo is able to grab this shot, and it ends up turning into nothing for us. And he has nobody to pass it to. Look at how far back the defense goes. That's how far up they're playing. Nickerson is able to win this in midfield over at Tsubota and looks forward for it and lumps it just to Cook. You think that with all these players playing forward, that Utah State would be content to actually work the ball up instead of just lumping it forward. And Aldana is able to make them pay with another goal from him. It's 20-something for him, and it's 2-1 BYU, and this is looking a little bit more like it. Utah State, and this is the problem, right? The problem is that I'm not playing with Dave INCID's realism files, which means that the computer manager is not going to think that it needs to do anything other than just lump the ball forward at this level. And so that's kind of the problem that we're having, with the, Aldana was just barely onside. You could argue that he was actually a little bit offside before that shot came in. But we're not going to make that argument for them. And Gallagher's foul from behind. November is sent off. And, that was ridiculous. That was a ridiculous scissor kick. And that's how you know, by the way, that this is a derby. It's a derby because you have a play like that. Every single time you have a big, big match like this, you'll wind up with somebody sent off. It has to happen. He's not going to be sent off, but we're going to take this one off. And Alamo is going to come in there for Garcia. And, Gallagher is also playing really poorly. We're going to put Jimenez in for him and see what we can do. We are running out of players to play center back. It would be nice if I could sign players, but of course that can't happen here. You can only sign 4 per year. Heaven forbid they're foreigners. We can only take the foreigners with the 200 PA. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous editor data file, and I will bring that up at every possible opportunity. And Aikens almost has a goal for Utah State. How did he miss that? That was a beautiful, beautiful cross. I'm surprised that wasn't called a clear-cut chance because that should have been a goal. And Tsubota now has this forward, and we really have problems there in the back. Korn has it now, and Korn rolls this out to Williams, a little bit dangerous with 2 defenders facing him. And Matt will take this up himself, then passes to Sun Hyun Taek over to Bowden. Bowden over to Amutenia. Amutenia with the ball in an attacking position, and he, instead of crossing, decides to drill a shot that goes back to row 10. Franco with it now is another counterattack for Utah State, passes this back to Tsubota. Tsubota looking forward, finds Aikens to Morales, and fortunately for us, he doesn't pull that one down and run forward because he had nothing but open space, right? Again, you've got to ask yourself, what is the game plan here for Utah State, right? They just lump the ball forward and kind of let the striker do it, which is not exactly what they should be doing. They should be taking advantage of the midfield that's wide open because we have no midfielders. And Aldana scores a goal. Was he onside is the question. Was he onside? I think he was off. Let's see what happens. Disallowed. He was offside, just as I thought. And you could see there the crowd was all going like this, a little bit of silence. And man, he was offside. He was offside by quite a bit. He was offside by about 2 yards. And it's not a highlight at the moment, and we'll see what happens. Garcia displaying little emotion after he was taken off after a bad match. He's about to receive a fine unless we figure out a way to explode here. And my anger will be quelled if that happens. But unfortunately for us, Angulo has the ball with his safe hands. Still 2-1 BYU, and it's a corner for Utah State. Lucas has this. Lucas runs back and knocks this shot up. And fortunately for us, Corn is able to grab it. He's just a little bit taller than those attacking players for Utah State. Otherwise, it would be a draw, and we'd really have a problem away from home if this were a 2-2 match. Bowden with it over to Amutenya with it, and he passes it back to Jimenez over to Cook, rather. Cook with it over to Meza. Meza looks forward to Martin and finds him, and it goes right through Nickerson, thankfully for us. Amutenya now. And it's Sun Hyun Taek with that shot, and that one ends up hitting the top crossbar and knocking backwards. I'm not sure how the physics worked on that. I don't think that's actually physically possible, but that'll be for FM 24. They'll fix that one, right? Tsubota now. Tsubota takes this one up the right-hand side. Tsubota again, and he crosses it forward looking for somebody. Can't find him. Lucas now over to Franco. Corn with the ball, and that will end that attempt. So still 2-1 BYU. Amutenya now with the shot, and Angulo is able to go over and grab that one and holds on to it safely. And we will move up to the 70th minute. About 20 minutes left in this one, and we're doing okay. We're doing okay with the lead. It could be better. Martin with it now. Remember, Utah State is down to 10 men. I forgot for a little second there. Alamo is taking a shot from a really, really poor angle, and we have a man who's very, very tired, and we're going to take him off here in a second, I think. Morales over to Nickerson finally, and it's Morales winning this one again in the air, and I'm telling you, they should be dominating midfield, and they don't realize it. And it's because the Football Manager Sports Interactive artificial intelligence, the manager is not very adept. That's why you have to make those changes. That's a good argument for the increased muralism mega pack. And Meza ends up scoring a goal here. Meza is one of the 2 signings that we had this season. Let's see if this one counts or not. And this one will count. And it's 3-1 BYU. And this was a little bit ridiculous. Alama with this pass into Bowden. Bowden kind of knocks it forward for Meza, and Meza just sort of runs past everybody and lobs this one forward. I mean, it wasn't even close to offside. It's a ridiculous thing to go to VAR for, but whatever. And we'll pause this here quickly. We're going to make a couple of subs, take off some of these really tired players. Sun Hyun Taek is broken, so Chavez comes on, and Williams is just not playing that well. He'll come off as well. And now we will go forward for the last 15 minutes of this match, and we have another attacking opportunity. Aldana with it over to Amutenya. Amutenya knocks it forward, and it is intercepted. And it's intercepted again by us, and it's Jimenez who has the ball now. Passes it forward to Amutenya. Amutenya back to Jimenez. Jimenez over to Meza, to Jimenez again. Jimenez, and it goes down to Cook. Cook looks it forward and knocks it forward to Tsubota, the defender who has it for Utah State. And they lump it forward, and lump it forward as far back as Jimenez, and they're lumping it forward again. Morales now with it over to Berenat, to another player, and we have one sent off, and that's going to be Meza, who just scored the goal, and he is sent off in this one. And that was kind of a controversial, I think, move there, but nothing we can do about it. We are not going to make any sort of changes at all. We hit cancel. We'll go back to the rest of the match. It is 3-1 BYU. And I don't think Utah State will come up with 2 goals late, but they might come up with 1. So let's see what happens here, if we have any more highlights or not. And it looks like we're not going to get any more highlights in this match. I think this is going to be done just like this. Angulo knocks this one forward, and fortunately, again, they're trying to lump it forward without using the midfield. It doesn't make sense to me because we have no people in the midfield. They would win it. We only have a single defensive midfielder. That's it. And I can't remember if he's the one further back or further forward. I probably should look, but I'm not going to. And that's the thing that's just so ridiculous about this, right? They should be moving the ball up slowly up the midfield, not trying to lump it forward. That makes no sense given the sort of formation that we have. And notice the one further back that we have. So we have nobody playing in the midfield proper, and they're still lumping the ball forward. So whatever, do what you want. I'm not going to be part of no streamer showdown, I'll tell you that. And it's Smith with this shot from a really poor angle, and he lumps it over everyone's head, and that's the end of the match. And so it ends. They only end up with 39% of the possession, but we probably had the worst of the possession earlier on in the game. And yeah, I mean, this was not really a beautiful win by us, but I think that we did what we could. And as you can see, Utah State dominated XG for most of the match up until here in the late stages of it when we went ahead. So that's the way this one ends up. And I hope that you enjoyed this one. I will see you tomorrow with more. Bye-bye.